So you know how there is adaptive lighting in all your smartphone devices. You know your brightness matches the environment you're in. But what if this was for volume? So you might ask, what use a feature like this would even have? But just think about it. When you walk around your home and you don't have your earphones in, or you're cooking and you don't have the time to manually adjust your volume, so you're just not hearing the video you're watching, and when it's quiet, but you left your phone on max, it just blasts your ears like a stun grenade. So now imagine that if you long press your volume slider, instead of it just growing, it would also have an option to turn on adaptive volume, just like you have the option to turn on night shift and true tone.
But actually, you don't have access to iOS or Android. How are you planning to do this?
Okay, maybe I don't have access, but what I can do is make an app, create the feature, and then integrate YouTube and Spotify inside the app so everyone can try out how good this feature really is. And before you say that this feature will kill your battery life, the thing is, your phone's microphone is already always on to listen to you saying Siri and to spy on you to sell you better ads. Now this is the hard part. I need to figure out how to read the decibel data of the phone's microphone and then write the code based on this data.
One eternity later.
So this took me a while, but it might be ready. The app is simple. There is a slider that tells the user the current volume. Note that this doesn't actually change your phone's volume, just the in-app volume, so keep your phone's volume at max. And there are 2 songs and 2 videos in the app, so the user can try out the experience. In the settings, you can change the multiplier and the sample rate. The sample rate is easy. It is just how often the app takes your mic's data. The number you put in will be the gap between the data takings in seconds. And the multiplier is also simple. Since not all phones are the same, the amount of which the volume should increase due to your surroundings is different. And now, let's talk a bit about the code. And I know, it's boring nerd shit, but it was 3 hours to write, and I'm quite proud of it, so just bear with me. First, the code asks for permissions to use the microphone, because you can't use an Android device microphone without a permission. The next thing the app does is load up the saved user data. You know, the settings I already talked about, and if there isn't any, then it just loads up the default data. After that, a repeater runs the code as fast as the user wants it to run. The slower named function, which is a dumb fucking name by the way, sets up the value of the slider, which then sets up the in-app value with another script, which I won't explain because it's boring and easy to do. But what is this value? Well, this value comes from a different function called getMicLoud, which uses another function called getLoud. GetLoud takes 2 things: the position in an audio clip, you know where it is in seconds, and the audio clip itself. You know, it needs these 2 things to work, but we don't have these 2 things. So what do we use? Well, we give a false prediction position of the microphone based on the audio it's currently getting in, and then we just use the microphone's name as the audio clip's name. The way GetLoud gets the loudness of clips is with wave data. What is wave data? You know, you've probably seen it before. It's these wave things that represent the audio clip itself. So this GetLoud asks for the wave data based on the audio that's coming in from the microphone, and then based on the wave's height, it gives a value between 1 and 0. But a wave can go both up and down, and 1 and -1 is the exact same loudness. So we first have to make sure that it's the absolute value of the wave data that it's using for the value that it gives off to the different script that sets up the slider, and you probably fucking got confused, because so did I. That's why it took me a lot of fucking time to do this. So I'm going to explain the code one more time in a very dumb way. Code asks for permission, because sex without permission is illegal, and because using the microphone without permission is illegal. This is so fucking dumb. Then it asks for the waves. If wave big, value big. If wave small, value small. Code sets volume to fit the value. Code happy. I'm going to kill myself. I've been walking around the house to see how well it works. It works alright. There is however one big problem with it. It could be fixed, I just don't have the motivation to do it right now. But before I tell you what the issue is, let's show this feature to others and see what they think about it. Or that's what you think past me. Turns out you live in the fucking middle of Eastern Europe. It's nothing but Slavs out here. Ain't no one speaks English, and good luck convincing your friends to be in your 1000 sub YouTube channel. Well, I did convince at least one person. Hey, look at this. I made an app where your volume changes based on the surroundings. Isn't this cool?
Yeah, cool.
Right?
Yes.
Right? And I also showed it to my best friend. Hey buddy, I made an app. The volume changes. I don't think he understood though. So it's kind of finished. I mean, it works. It's not perfect, it has one big issue, but it doesn't have to be perfect because this is just a tech demo I made in a few hours. The issue is that when you play something, the audio waves that come out of the phone get picked up by the microphone, which makes the audio louder because of the code, which eventually puts everything to max volume, whatever you do. Theoretically, fixing this issue is easy. All you have to do is make sure that the audio waves coming out of the phone gets ignored by the microphone. But in reality, this is pretty hard to do, and I don't want to get into 2 weeks of coding just because of a YouTube video. But it is fully possible. A lot of apps already done it. For example, in Discord, if you're in an audio call and play something on your phone, the other person won't hear it even though you're playing it. And I also failed to integrate YouTube and Spotify inside the app. Not because it's that difficult, but because I wanted to share this file with you guys and I didn't want to run into legal issues. Speaking of legal issues, in my first video I promised that my mobile game GYROSHIFT will be released if we reach 100 likes, which we did. So I did start the process. Turns out I need a company or at least a legal right to sell video games online, so setting that up will take a bit of time. And while you wait, I will keep on improving on it, so when it is released, it won't be that bad of a game. I hope you enjoyed this little side project of mine. And I'm sorry about the upload frequency. These videos take quite a bit of time, and I'm also not working on this full time. But I'm already working on my next video where I teach you the principles of game development without it being a boring tutorial. So I think this project was a success, and if an actual operating system company like Android or Apple would pick this feature up, it might actually work pretty well. But what do you think? Do you think I wasted 3 weeks of my life? Or was this worth it? Was the video at least enjoyable? Tell me in the comments, and also, if you have any shitty ideas like these or any stupid video game ideas that are easy to make, you can share it with me and I might actually do them.